Listen, after Josh Allen just won it, you know how Lamar's going to come out, and you know how he's going to just start dominating right off the bat. He's going to
Dude,
make a case for himself again. Lamar is going to come back with a vengeance, and he's going to win that MVP. You don't think he wasn't salty about that? Come on now.
Like we do this same conversation, ring around the circus bull crap every year. Oh, this Lamar's going to come back with a vengeance. He lost in the playoffs, gets bounced in the first round. Lamar's going to come back with a vengeance this year. He blows leads at the end of games when they don't score touchdowns and he can't get the ball to move down the field against who was it? The Titans or the Panthers? Like who? I'm tired of this whole Lamar Jackson thing. All right, welcome back to another episode of the B Team Podcast. We got Mikey on this one. Back. He's back with us. The train conductor, the man, the myth, the legend, Mikey Meatball is back. It seriously was tough. Like, I don't understand how Colin Cowherd, you got Skip Bayless doing it a little bit. You got Stephen A. Smith doing it a little bit. Like, I don't understand how these guys put together, like, multiple hours where they're just talking. I know that they kind of have that person, guy, girl. I know on Colin Cowherd, he's got, what's her name with him usually? Well, now it's Jason because she's gone, but he did have her for a while. So he had someone to work off of, but good one. Like not having that person to work off of with it being your show is just an insane. It's really an insane experience because I was sitting there arguing, but like no one was rebuttaling. So I'm arguing with myself and trying to think like, okay, how might that be taken by the opposite side? And how can I cover my ass with my takes, especially for the Caleb ones, which it was like, I mean, if we wanted to touch on that real quick, because that was the big part of that show, basically saying that Caleb Williams is the bust of that draft class. And, I just want to repeat, he's not a bust in the sense of like a Johnny Manziel bust, Tim Tebow bust, right? Where they didn't produce anything. Caleb is going to produce some good stuff. It's just he's in a class with guys, Bo Nix is already proven kind of. Like if he comes out this year and does the same stuff as last year and, Sean Payne's saying he's going to be even better this year, he'll be in the top 10 quarterback conversation, top 5 maybe even. And the Broncos are pushing the Kansas City Chiefs. Like Bo Nix is going to be up there as probably the best one in this class. Jaden Daniels is in this class, who had a great year last year, almost made a Super Bowl last year. Drake May up in New England, new staff up there, new culture. Maybe it's a new beginning for him, even though it's only his second year. So he could be good. There's a lot of variables still at play. And Caleb, he's still very young. I mean, we're talking about a year 2 quarterback, sophomore quarterback. Like, I don't think he is a bust, but when we look back on this class, the expectations for him are literally like 5 times the expectations of these other guys in his class. So when we look back on it, yeah, if he doesn't win a division, if he doesn't win a Super Bowl, if he doesn't win a playoff game, if he doesn't make the playoffs, he's going to be looked at as it's going to be a failure. That entire move will be a failure.
And the thing is, what was interesting about what you were saying, like the way, because again, there is always one. There's always one guy that is a solidified bust. I agree with you. Mm-hmm. I look at Caleb, and it's funny when you talk about variables, not to get deep into this conversation, but like there are variables, that come into play when their quarterback, goes to a team. Drake May, a new regime coming in. Jaden Daniels, Dan Quinn, has had Cliff Kingsbury, so he's pretty much in a good position. Caleb, for example, Ben had Matt Eberflus at the start, kind of a shit show.
Yeah.
Ben Johnson comes in, this is one of the most highly sought after coaches, OCs in the game last year. He's got a really good team around. There's so many things that matter in this league, especially for a quarterback. How I kind of look at Caleb is how I kind of look at Bryce Young now. Bryce Young, he didn't really have the team at the start, and everyone was already calling him off. Oh, he's a bust, blah, blah, blah. He's for the Panthers. Their organization sucks. And fair enough, they do suck. But, Bryce has shown improvements over his second year. You have seen it. I've seen it. And he's doing it with not that many talented players around him. Now you add in Ted McMillan. You have Xavier Legette there coming on his second year. Jalen Coker, another guy who really is just flown under the radar. I kind of see Caleb in a similar position where, his first year wasn't a bad year. It just wasn't exceeding or meeting expectation. So that's the thing. It's like a lot of these guys, it's hard to really call them a bust, after the first or second year, because year 3, they can go crazy. Look at Gino. That's another guy who was a bust and then just resurrected out of nowhere. But to make long story short, in a way, long answer, short answer, if I did have to call out a bust in this draft class, I have 2 actually. I think JJ is probably going to be my leading candidate to be a bust, even though he has Kevin O'Connell and a good weapon in Justin Jefferson. You never know with him. You've seen him at Michigan. You saw how he played, game manager. The NFL is a whole different beast. But it's hard. It's hard because none of these guys really have. We haven't seen JJ play a game besides preseason, the first preseason game. And Drake May is another one.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, we said it. Yeah, we said it the other day when we were talking about Drake May. You look back on last year. Yes, he played a lot of football, and everyone's like, "Oh, Drake May, he did great. He's right where he needs to be." Can you remember one single highlight that kid had last year? No. So, yeah, he might be a steady quarterback, but is he going to jump off the page and get you over the line? I don't think so. But the expectations for him are so much smaller than Caleb. That's where I look at it. I'm like, okay, are we going to look back and say Drake May was a bust before we look at Caleb, who doesn't win a division, doesn't win a playoff game, and call him a bust? We're most likely going to call Caleb the bust there, because of the expectations. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, too. It's like when you look at, you look at the AFC East, if we're talking about Drake May and Caleb Williams, you look at the AFC East, it's pretty solidified the Bills are going to win it. Every single year they have the MVP, Josh Allen. He's only getting better. He's in his prime right now. They're getting better via the draft, via free agency, via trade, whatever. Like, he doesn't, when you talk about expectation, he doesn't have that expectation because there is no expectation. There's no expectation for us. There's no expectation for the Patriots. There's no expectation for the Dolphins. The Bills have it solidified. On the other end, the AFC or the NFC North, all those teams are competitive. So it'd be different if the Lions were the absolute solidified favorite to win the division. Then it'd be, hey, listen, Caleb, he won't be a bust. He can make the wild card. If he makes the playoffs, if he has over a record of 500, I think that's, that's salvageable. That's fine. But
yeah,
what the hell is going on? That's the thing.
What's going on there?
My Casio watch just started going crazy on me for some unknown reason. But anyways,
I agree with you. Like, if you look at some of these other quarterbacks, you have guys like Lamar Jackson there, who he literally he either has one less or one more playoff win than Dak Prescott. And we're talking about a guy who's in MVP conversations every year. People look at him and they're literally comparing him to Patrick Mahomes and saying he's better than Patrick Mahomes, some people, which is crazy to think. And that guy, we're saying right now, if Caleb Williams puts up the stuff that Lamar Jackson is doing, right, in terms of winning stuff, we're going to call some people might call Caleb a bust. Right? That's crazy to think because the expectations are that high for him. They weren't that high for Lamar. They weren't because Lamar went, 28 in the draft? Patrick Mahomes, the expectations for Patrick Mahomes were not this high coming into the league. Now they are. Joe Burrow probably was the last quarterback that had this high of expectations. And even for him, he was going to a Cincinnati team with zero expectations. So to sit here and say that and to recognize the expectations that are on Caleb going to a bad Bears team, I don't know if we've had a quarterback that has been put under that much pressure.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny because you want to talk about writing somebody off. Like, I will write someone off. Anthony Richardson. But I know we've had this conversation. Yes, well, he was written off before we even drafted him. But when you're talking about, that's a guy who was drafted fourth overall. This was, 3 years ago now?
Yeah.
And this was the guy to change the face of the franchise, They haven't really had a quarterback since, I guess, Rivers for a year or Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, whatever. But this is a guy who has come in, last 2 years of his career, or his first 2 years of his career, I'm sorry, and has had his first year. Hey, let's just see what he has. Let him play well. Let's have a decent record. Okay, second system or second year acclimating into the system. Let's win some games now. You've been here. You know what to do. We're expecting more of you. Bam, gets hurt, doesn't live up to expectations. Now we're in the third year now, and we're seeing the same thing. Gets injured in the preseason. They bring in Danny Dimes. Like, that is a situation where you have to bring in another quarterback from a different team to now compete with your quarterback who is going to be your starter or franchise savior. Like, that is bust potential. But hey, listen, you never know with this league. Anybody can resurrect out of nowhere. But with AR, for me, I think it's going to be tough, man. I just don't see it anymore. He has the athleticism, he has that raw talent, but it's just his arm, it's his accuracy, and it's blatantly clear. Everyone in the league knows this.
And he can't stay on the field. So let's get off of this topic, because let's talk about a quarterback that just got drafted and is already stirring the pot over in Cleveland, Shedeur Sanders. I mean, Mike, we were right about this kid. I really do believe it. Dylan Gabriel, he might end up being a bust solely because he's not going to have a team this year. It's crazy to think, but Shedeur Sanders, the way he played, the confidence he had, the swagger he had, the pocket presence, his ability to scramble and stay within himself and still complete passes. He had some really good passes that game. He had a really good, basically, it was like 3 or 4 drives, I think, that he was just solid, right? And he's doing this with severe backups. And everyone can say, yeah, he's going up against backups, but Shedeur might have been the only first team caliber player on that field. Am I wrong? Right? Now, I will say, just to rebuttal this, because the other side, I know what they're going to say. They're going to not like this. They're going to say it was backups, rookie, whatever. Nike maybe jumped the gun on doing this whole it's only a matter of time ad. That might have been a little preemptive there. We should have probably held on to that one, kept that in the back pocket for like November, because you're posting this about a kid who might not even be the week 1 starter, and we're making it seem like he's going to be the next 4 Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, Nike's always going to jump the gun whenever there's someone who is going to be a public figure. You know how Nike is, just like any other brand out there. But I will say this, you were high on Shedeur. You thought he was ready to, we're not done with preseason. Again, we're going into the week 2 now. I still stand where I'm at. For me, it's seeing Shedeur more in action. It's seeing, again, what we said this 2 weeks ago. The preseason is going to be so essential for Shedeur, like no tomorrow. But for any other quarterback, it's not as important. Maybe for, the guy who, like a Jackson Dart, who's pretty, no, I can't even say that. I don't know. But Shedeur, as a 5th round pick, we got to remember that he's going to utilize the preseason as best as he can to, make that stamp. Hey, I should be your starting quarterback. I still think we have more to see. We're not going to jump the gun on week 1. I still believe Flacco will be the starter. But hey, if Shedeur keeps playing like this, where I don't know who they play next week, but they have their first team starters out first drive, and Shedeur is playing. Maybe they have for the second drive. Like the Jets had their first team starters for defense out pretty much the whole quarter. I would love to see Shedeur be in that situation where he's going against a first team defense, playing the whole quarter, and throw up a stat line, 8 for 11, 90 yards, maybe a touchdown, no interceptions. Take care of the football when you're young. You don't want to. It's a bad look when you're throwing interceptions. You're fumbling the ball. And to go off what you said, I thought he played great as well. He looked athletic. He looked comfortable in the pocket. He just has to keep building. Take one step at a time. Take one game at a time. Keep building on your performances. And I don't see why he shouldn't be the starter for real.
I think the key for Shedeur, and it's important to remember that Shedeur Sanders played out of necessity, most likely, due to the injuries that were occurring. Joe Flacco was never going to play in preseason. The dude's old. They know what he brings to the table. There's no reason to go see him out there with backups. So he was never going to play. Dylan Gabriel was injured. Kenny Pickett was coming off an injury. I believe he was healthy for the game. But Shedeur really got thrown into there out of necessity, most likely, because if Dylan Gabriel was healthy, he probably starts the game. Now, with that being said, I think that Shedeur Sanders showed enough that he deserves a little bit of time with the starters if and when they do play this preseason, because it's important that we see both him and Dylan Gabriel, not just Kenny Pickett, not just Joe Flacco, with the starting group. Because if you can get a guy that has chemistry with them and can show that he's capable of winning NFL games with your starters, and the Browns are not a bad team. They have weapons. They have a great defense. Right, so the starters don't necessarily have to play, but going into that final week, I would expect them, as the Browns, to play them. And if Shedeur goes out there and balls out, dude, I think you have to play him week one. I think he's got to be the starter. You got to roll out that swag, the confidence he brings to the table. I mean, you saw his walk-in. They had a dude with one of those, what is it, Death and the Deathly Hallows knives. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, he was walking through like Jack the Ripper. It was crazy. Like, he's walking in there with his own music playing that he made. Like, dude, he's got the confidence. He's got the swagger. He has the pedigree. We talked about this about 6 months ago when you were referring to it last time. Shedeur Sanders' background and his family heritage, it's built for him to be a starter in the NFL. And the only thing that was missing was the tools, and did he have the talent? And I think he proved both of those.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is with Shedeur too, like not even Shedeur, but the Browns organization is, number one, they're doing the right thing. I think the way they've handled the offseason, the draft, number one, I thought they nailed it. And number two, like you said, with necessity, going into the preseason, getting these guys acclimated to the system that Kevin Stefanski has put in the Browns offense. And, Kenny Pickett, we know what he is, He's a backup. He is not a starter. He should not be seeing any time besides the third or the fourth quarter where Shedeur has played and they're celebrating on the sidelines. What do you have to? My thing is, what do the Browns have to lose with playing Shedeur now? When you're with Flacco, yeah, you might see a couple of wins. If they're on a 3-game win streak, yeah, you keep rocking with him. But if you lose the first two, you lose the first three. Dude, what do you have to lose? You got the Ravens, the Bengals, and the Steelers in your division. You're clearly not the favorite. You might as well just get him used to the offense, get him some experience, and he can sit back and learn. Again, it really just depends on how the season goes for the Browns. If they're 2-2, and and Joe Flacco is playing well, maybe throws a pick a game, but is thrown for over 300 yards, why not roll with Flacco if you truly think you could win the division? But if the Bengals or the Steelers or the Ravens are 5-0, like, hey, it's going to be a little tough here. But I think they're handling it well. I think we'll have more of an understanding once the third preseason game comes around to really understand the situation and how they're going to handle it. It's going to be a headline. We know it's going to be a headline. So it's just going to be time now. Time is going to take its place. Again, Shedeur, just stack up the performances.
Yeah, last thing on this, Dylan Gabriel, like I said earlier, he hasn't played in preseason yet. Obviously, he was injured the first game, so we don't even know what he's bringing to the table. Like, he might come in and be lights out. He might even be better than Shedeur. So that'll be interesting to see this week. I forget who they have. You have something?
Well, one thing about Dylan Gabriel too, I don't think it's a bad thing that he's injured right now. They're in a very interesting spot where didn't they just sign another quarterback? If they signed Tyler Huntley, exactly.
He's not going to make it, dude.
Yeah, he won't make it. But the thing is, it's like Dylan's not in a bad spot because he is able to not only learn from Joe Flacco, but you have a guy who's pretty much almost a little bit younger than you that can depict the offense and can actually maybe give you some insight to Dylan Gabriel, give him some feedback. It's not Dylan Gabriel, I feel like, again, is one of those guys that he's not going to start right away. He doesn't have that juice. He doesn't have, I guess, I don't know if the family heritage really means anything, but doesn't.
No, but with the family heritage thing, Mike, I'm talking about he's a Deion Sanders kid. Like he knows how to deal with the spotlight. He knows what he needs to do to stay out of the spotlight. Clearly now he knows to not drive cars. But that's more what I was getting at. It's not like we're talking about, oh, he played professional basketball. Yeah, that's more what I'm getting at there.
Yeah, but he should. You know what though? All I'm saying is, Dylan Gabriel, when you're injured, learn, watch these guys. You're obviously probably not practicing. Just learn the playbook. Study, watch how these guys perform, and it should be smooth sailing. I mean, listen, if Shedeur never work, if he doesn't work out, shit, you got Dylan Gabriel, and he's been learning. Let's see what he's got. I hope we see him in the preseason, though. I really do.
Yeah, we actually might have reverse roles because I did just remember that Shedeur did get injured today at the beginning of practice. Oblique injury. Didn't seem like it was anything serious, precautionary if anything. But I could see Shedeur possibly being the one that's out this week and Dylan Gabriel getting a lot of time. So it's going to be really interesting to see what the Browns do. This is going to be something we will talk about for probably the next 3 to 4 weeks. And then when Joe Flacco shows up and plays bad and they put Kenny Pickett in instead of one of the other rookies, it's like we're going to be sitting here in week 3 or 4 like, what are the Browns doing? Like, you're going to lose every game. Play half and half with Shedeur and Dylan Gabriel for the rest of the season. Like, what does it even matter?
Don't put in Kenny Pickett, please. Like, again,
you know they're going to do
bust. Okay, writing him off. Bust. He's a freaking bust.
Well,
Stop it.
Mike.
He's a bust.
He's a Super Bowl champion bust.
Oh my God, he's a bust, dude. Pittsburgh ruined him. God.
All right, so let's move on here. We got bigger and better things to talk about. I received a text after the New York Football Jets game, during it actually, that said, I'm gonna rephrase this. But this was from Mike. This text came from Mike, and I believe it was right after they scored a touchdown or were driving down the field. Maybe it was right at the beginning of the drive. Mike texted me that he was going to, we'll make this PG, cream himself. It was a very interesting moment for me because I was not watching the game and I didn't know the context of it. I actually forgot the Jets were playing at the time. So I hopped on Twitter because I was like, there's no way he's texting me that right now. And without any like Jets, Rangers, Mets thing. So first thing I did was look up Juan Soto. I figured Juan Soto did something at first. That wasn't true. So then I was like, all right, let's look up Jets. And they were playing at the time. And I just see Justin Fields scampering down the field. So Mike, you can take the floor here.
I mean, okay, listen, disclaimer, it's the first preseason game, all right? This is like golf, you want to start out with like a 7 or a 6. You don't want to start out with a birdie because then after that it's all downhill. So maybe a negative sign. Just going to put that out there. But that first drive, I mean, shout out to Beck, number 47, being a check down. The way Tanner Engstred was just developing these plays, they looked like a football team. We haven't seen a guy in motion since freaking probably Bill Parcells or Rex. The fact that the offense was playing smart and there were run plays where we had the receiver cracking down on the edge, making a hole for Braylon Allen, who I also need to talk about, by the way. We need to talk about that running back situation. Justin Fields looked comfortable. But he wasn't even the star of the game. I'll get into the other star of the game. Justin Fields, being in the pocket, good pocket presence, nice, throw to 47 Beck, who probably is going to make the team after that showing, was phenomenal. Obviously scrambled and scored a touchdown his first drive. They marched down that field. What? I'm sorry?
He didn't throw for the touchdown?
No, he ran. He scrambled and he got a touchdown. It was like a 13-yard scramble for a touchdown. Listen, even doing that in Lambeau, I know, it's a preseason game and everything, but it just looked fluid. It looked right. It looked like an offense, and you don't say that as a Jets fan, but the unsung heroes of the offense was the O-line. That O-line was dominating the Packers D-line all game long. Armin Membu, solid. Olu Fashanu, solid. Joe Tippmann, solid. AVT, solid. If this O-line group can stay healthy, they're easily a top 10 O-line group. They could be top 5. They are going to run the ball. They are going to utilize Breece Hall. They are going to utilize Braylon Allen. That's a name to watch out for because he might be starting. He might be getting a bulk of the handoffs. Aaron Glenn, I was just fired up. We haven't really seen anything like that. Salah was, holding hands, being cool with the players. Aaron Glenn's going to get in your face, man. And he got in people's faces, third quarter, fourth quarter. It's just a whole different, just hard nosed. Let's just get to work, screw the noise, and get after it.
I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
About Aaron Glenn. So Jets fans, it's kind of about the Jets fans' infatuation with Aaron Glenn, which I'm not taking away anything from Aaron Glenn. I think he's doing a great job. I think he's doing all the right things. But do you think Jets fans are so impressed by him and amazed by him because he's actually being a coach?
Yeah.
Like he's just doing his job. Like you guys just haven't had someone do their job.
Well, the thing is, it's like all of these other head coaches that we've had, they just don't get angry. They don't fucking coach with a purpose. And I feel like obviously Aaron Glenn, he's been a Jet. He knows how shitty this organization has been. He learned from Bill Parcells as well, one of the better Jets head coaches probably in franchise history. He has experience and players respect that. They respect the guy who's played a certain position, has played for the team. It's all kind of just falling into place, and he has something to prove too, man. It's probably a dream for him coaching the team that he pretty much got drafted by and played for, and he had his opportunity. He left Detroit, brought some people over, and he's fired up about it, and he knows his team could win. I mean, Darren Muji has put out a decent product when it comes to Mason Taylor looking like the tight end one for the Jets, who's been really solid, has had a really good camp. A lot of the defensive guys that they brought in, the one dude, Tufele or whatever, D tackle, he had a sack and a half. I mean, all right. Another way, he started bringing referees to the games, to the practices. So discipline. He's trying to make these guys accountable for their penalties and screwing up. Some guys, false start, late hit. He's pulling their asses right out and getting in their face, like. Just grind, man. He knows where this team has been through. He's been through the gutter, man. I just love how he's handling it. I love how he's handling it. So
I agree.
Really, 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 really good start for the Jets so far. Breece Hall, not the start he wanted. There's a lot of talk about him possibly getting shipped off for some pieces. I've seen some potential trades. I'm not opposed to it. I love Breece Hall to death. And I always wish the best for him. And I think he's going to be a Jet for a couple of weeks. But I don't see a scenario where he does not get traded. I truly don't.
I will gladly get his jersey in cowboy blue. I'm cool with that. If he wants to come to Dallas, I'm cool with that. We need him. We could use him. I love what Blue has been doing this preseason, but my God, can we not run the ball? I could use a Breece Hall today, tomorrow, and yesterday. 100%.
And the thing is too, like it's one of those problems where it's a good problem. You have a 21-year-old back that's pretty much built like Derrick Henry. Almost. No one's really built like Derrick Henry, but
crazy.
He is a big body and he is a downhill runner, and he's had a fantastic camp. Braylon Allen, number 0, young, Wisconsin product. Isaiah Davis, change of pace back, from North Dakota State, good pass catcher. I don't know if you saw that play where we probably didn't. Fields, when he ran in for the touchdown, Isaiah Davis pretty much did a decoy trying to target the ball.
I saw that. More guys have to do that. It's incredible. Genius IQ play. I just, offense has been the issue for this team for decades. And Justin Fields, if he could just play smart, and again, he's going to have those days where he's up and down. But if he could play smart, if he can utilize his legs, if he could target Garrett Wilson, if we can get the run game going, we can win games. I truly believe we can win games, but we have to stay healthy. You know how it goes.
All right, and with that, speaking of winning games, let's get into some futures here, Mike. Let's get into the big part of the show. Where do you want to start? I have one that I would love to start with, that I think a lot of Eagles fans and listeners would love to start with. All right. So Bryce Young's over-under is 3,200 and a half. Jalen Hurts' over-under is 3,175.5. My question for you is, who's going to have more passing yards this season? Bryce Young or Jalen Hurts? Because I don't even think this is not even going to be close. Jalen Hurts might not even have the most passing yards on his own team once Taylor McKee takes over. I'm hammering a Bryce Young over, and I'm not even going to get like the middle ground here. I'm taking the under on Jalen Hurts.
Bryce Young is going to have more passing yards.
Absolutely.
With the addition of Ted McMillan, I don't think people realize how big of an addition that is. You know, Adam Thielen's not your wide receiver one anymore, okay? He's developing a great relationship with Ted McMillan. He has Xavier Legette. I just talked about all their weapons. He's going to have Chuba in the back. He's going to throw the ball a lot.
Yep.
The run game isn't as strong as the Eagles. You know, you're not going to run. Your game plan isn't going to be running through Chuba Hubbard like they do Saquon Barkley. And that's not a bad thing from Eagles fans. It's a good thing. You don't want your quarterback throwing it all the time. But I think Bryce Young definitely has some more passing yards. They're going to be down in games. There's going to be fourth quarter. They're going to be throwing the ball a lot.
No,
hopefully they're not. Hopefully they're not down in games a lot. But you know, listen,
the Panthers are winning. They are winning the South. The Panthers are winning the South. This is the year. Bryce Young is the truth. He Bama grad. We're taking this all the way. I think the Panthers have the squad this year to do it. I'm not saying a Super Bowl. I know my pinned tweet says Super Bowl, but I think the Panthers win both games against the Falcons. I think they split with the Bucs, and they win against the Saints in not close games. I think this is going to be the easiest division they're going to win in a decade.
It's funny because, you know, down here in Georgia, obviously there's a decent amount of Falcons fans, and I'm just telling them, like, guys, listen, you know, Bryce Young, just watch out. It's like, oh, yeah, Bryce Young. And I'm like, listen, I'm telling you guys, Bryce Young, you better watch out. They're like, what about the Falcons and Michael Penix? I'm like, I like Michael too, but they always find a way to disappoint me. And they're like, you're not wrong. I'm like, I know I'm not wrong. Believe me, I put a lot of money on Atlanta over the last 3 years.
Michael Penix's favorite target has been we just keep saying it's his year for like 6 years. This guy comes into the league and it's every year. Oh, this is the year he's going to be great. This is the year he's going to be great. And then the dude has no receiving yards the entire year and drops touchdowns like it's his job. So I don't want to hear anything about Michael Penix Jr.
Whoa!
Where do you?
What do you? Okay, what? Can you just repeat what you said about Michael Penix Jr., please?
No, his favorite target on his team. He said this in an interview, and he's been throwing it to him all preseason, does not catch the ball. And I already pronounced his career dead in the middle of this summer, so I'm not going back and saying his name on this show. You know who I'm talking about.
Fair enough. You know, it's funny. I kind of picture Michael Penix as like a younger Kirk Cousins. Funny enough, like, yeah. You know, he's had a bad shoulder. I'm pretty sure a bad shoulder surgery, a bad knee surgery. You know, if he can get protected, he's gonna be like Kirk. I just don't know how he's gonna be when he's rolling out of the pocket. That's my only thing with him. But we don't have to get into them.
No, we're here to talk futures, dude. We're here to talk futures. So let's talk futures. Where do you want to start at?
All right, so let's start off. You know, we're gonna work our way up to MVP. We're gonna save that for last.
I like that. So we're starting with protector.
I'm going to start off with the new award, Protector of the League, and I love it so much.
I love this. And I have my pick.
You have your pick? Okay, so I believe the favorite is Penei Sewell. Lane Johnson is second. Trent is third off the top of my head.
Yep.
I'm going to lock it in now. I'm taking Joe Alt to be Protector of the League.
Let's go, Mike.
Rashawn Slater is out for the year. Joe Alt, fantastic last year. He's at plus 1,600. That is a stamp. I am taking him. Joe Alt, it will be the Protector of the League.
Mike, it is crazy you just said that because he is my pick as well. I have him at plus 1,500 right here on FanDuel at the moment, but it doesn't matter. The dude is the most protective person in the league. I saw him talking about, was it fried rice? No. Was it chicken and waffles? It was something crazy, some food. And I saw him talking about it and the way he was just like standing his ground and protecting it. Dude, it popped up right after you told me this was an award. I'm all in on this. Joe Alt is going to be the Protector of the Year for 2025-26. I cannot wait for this.
Yeah, I mean, especially with Rashawn Slater getting hurt. That is big. They might move him to left tackle, and he is a stud. He's a mountain of a man. He had a fantastic year protecting Justin Herbert's blind side. I think Joe Alt's got it in the bag. Real quick, is this light okay, or should I shut it off? I was very
That's fine.
You could not see me before. I mean, kind of, but nah, I like the light more.
Dude, just do it, because every single time we record, you have bad lighting. So let's do it. No, but I'm all in on Joe Alt. That is incredible that you picked him as well. Yeah. All right. So let's move on. Comeback player of the year or defensive rookie of the year?
So we're gonna do comeback player of the year. Now I have an interesting list here. You know me, I go for value a lot. My comeback player of the year is gonna be Christian McCaffrey. I think this is the year that McCaffrey, puts all those injuries behind him, everything that's happened the last couple of years. I think this is the year he really comes back. And, listen, they lost Debo. Brandon Ayuk is going through some injury problems. Ricky Pearsall got shot. Mm-hmm. So I think Christian McCaffrey's going to get a bulk of everything. He's going to get the receptions. He's going to get the rushing yards. They're going to utilize him. They're going to be smart with him. But if he's a full go and, Christian's going to tell these guys, listen, I'm fine. Feed me the ball. They're not going to hesitate. They're going to give Christian McCaffrey the ball. And listen, he is plus 300. I believe the first one is Aiden Hutchinson. Not a bad pick either. No. I think one of those two favorites will win. But I think offense is superior, and I think he's going to take the throne.
Well, the other thing in here is Dak Prescott. And the only reason I'm not taking Dak Prescott as the AP NFL Comeback Player of the Year is because he's going to be the MVP. So in my mind, I think Max Crosby is a dog, and at plus 2,500, if he comes out and just does what he does, it's going to be hard for people to not give him this award. Because honestly, I don't know why Dak's on this list. I don't know why JJ McCarthy should not be on this list. The fact he's plus 900 makes no sense to me. Nick Chubb, okay, but he played most of the season. Christian McCaffrey makes sense. Trevor Lawrence makes no sense to me. It's like,
and also what justifies it? You know what I mean? That's my favorite comeback player of the year is still he got injured. If someone got injured the previous year and is back, fair enough. But if someone just had a fucking terrible season for, a second consecutive season, Max Crosby was healthy all last year, if I'm not wrong.
Yes. No. He got injured at the end. But that's what I mean. It should be if you got injured in the first 10 games. There's 18 weeks now. If you get injured in the first 10 weeks of the season, you can be on this list. I don't understand why JJ McCarthy's on this at all. He wasn't going to play.
He has not played a game. I don't get that.
Yeah. So I don't know why he's even close to the top of this list. I get why Tua is on there for the fifth year running. Stephon Diggs is still on here. Daniel Jones, I don't understand why he's on here. Just because he got benched and then traded doesn't make him an AP Comeback Player of the Year. Rashee Rice being on this list, kind of funny. And that's one that I might place just to cheer for.
I wish I could change it. I hope he wins it.
Right? Should we take Rashee Rice in this? Because that makes a lot of sense.
The fact he's going to get suspended. He's going to get suspended. He's going to come back and might be the best receiver in the league, and that's a hell of a comeback player of the year award.
What did you come back from? They're going to look back on this. What did Rashee Rice come back from? He had a great season. What was his injury? No, he just crashed a car, and then Patrick Mahomes tore his ACL, his own quarterback. So I think that would be one of the funnier comeback player of the years if we got it. It's going to be very hard to top Aiden Hutchinson, though. If Aiden Hutchinson comes back and dominates or plays anywhere close to what he was before, it's going to be hard for them not to give it to him based on the way his injury happened and what his injury was. But I like your pick, Christian McCaffrey. I'm just looking at this, Max Crosby, I'm going to throw him a bone here. I just think he gets a lot of publicity, and, if he plays well, I don't see why he can't be in this conversation. So,
and this is, I like your points. We're going to move on. And this is why my list is weird, because we're going to go offensive player of the year. I'm going to take McCaffrey. I'm taking Christian McCaffrey. I'm that high on him this year where, he just do it all. Everyone knows this, but they're just so scared because he's just going to get injured again. I'm going to take the risk that he's not going to get injured. He's going to go back to his prime form, and he's going to dominate. I love him for Offensive Player of the Year. There were a couple other guys, of course, Jamar Chase, Saquon, Gibbs, Bijan. You could take any of those guys and hope for the best. If you're going for a little bit more value, I really like McCaffrey in this spot.
I'm actually going to go with Bijan Robinson here. I think that it's kind of at a point where if Bijan's not in this conversation as a top 3 candidate, it's almost like, what is Bijan doing? The dude, all running backs in the league say, oh, who's the best one? Who's the most shifty? Who do you think is truly the best all-around running back right now? They all say Bijan Robinson. So at some point, this guy's just got to show out and be that guy and be in the top 3 in this. I'm taking Bijan Robinson at plus 1,600. I think it's time for him to break out of his shell and show what he can do.
Yeah, Bijan's interesting because everyone knows how good of a player he is. I just feel like we don't talk about it enough because he's on the Falcons, because he does it all under the radar. There's not like, okay, what his first touchdown of his career, shifted the guy linebacker for Carolina. Yeah, we talked about him, but we don't talk about him like we talk about guys like Jahmyr Gibbs, guys like, Saquon Barkley, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. He doesn't get that, headline as much as those guys because Atlanta just doesn't win. And that's the thing. It's Atlanta doesn't solidify themselves as, a playoff contender or anything. But I think this year will be different. I think Bijan takes that big step, and I think he's going to start really cooking up. I agree with you.
He has to. And one from left field that I think the odds are going to go up from where they're at, because they're at 15,000 right now, is George Pickens. I really do believe that Dallas Cowboys got a Dez Bryant in his prime this offseason. With all the videos that are coming out with the connection between him and Dak, I think George Pickens is going to creep up this list as the season goes on. You're going to see a George Pickens that you did not see in Pittsburgh, basically due to the fact that they had 0 competent quarterbacks since the Duck Caller, whatever the hell his name, it was like something Hodges, Duck Hodges or whatever the fuck. He was the last person that could get George Pickens the ball. So I think George Pickens is a sneaky one that you could get for very good value and maybe cash out down the line.
Mm-hmm. Right, Defensive Player of the Year.
Let's do it.
Now, this is funny because it doesn't really make sense based off Comeback Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, and Defensive Player of the Year. So my Defensive Player of the Year is going to be Aiden Hutchinson. I'm going to take the favorite. It is plus 700.
Oh, wait, Mike. Nope. Micah Parsons is the favorite, and I think that's so bad on the books because if Micah Parsons gets this deal, we all know what's going to happen. He's not going to have his best season. The way this is all panning out, I don't see him having his best season at all. I think that you're better off waiting till week 3 or 4 and then taking Micah Parsons when he's at like plus 1,200, and then you ride that into Christmas and you can cash it out or he wins it. But yeah, I agree with you. I like your pick there. Keep going.
Yeah, and it's funny because, again, you look at Comeback Player of the Year, and Aiden Hutchinson and McCaffrey are on that list. But the reason why I took McCaff on that is I just think offense just is much superior than defense when you're talking about awards, MVP awards, everything else. Offense will always reign supreme. That's just how it goes. That's why Aiden Hutchinson, I'm going to lock him in as my Defensive Player of the Year, not Comeback Player of the Year. He's going to come back, and I don't know if you've heard this. The Lions practices, he's been so dominant that he is rushing the quarterback immediately, but they are continuing play because he's just getting the quarterback every time. I think that's hilarious. I love that Dan Campbell is just letting that slide. He's coming back with a vengeance. Quick value pick. If you don't agree with the pick, I like Jared Verse. I'm going to keep saying this until people start putting some respect on his name. Jared Verse is going to be a absolute stud. He pretty much already is. That Rams defense, don't sleep on it. Take him in fantasy. He is an animal. He's a freaking beast on the D line alongside Braden Fisk. He is a problem. So plus 1,500 per what I wrote. It's probably like plus 1,400 now or something. You want value, sprinkle a little bit of shit on that, and he could win it too. I would not be surprised.
Well, that was my pick, so I don't have to say anything after that. Mike, where are we going next?
Defensive Rookie of the Year.
All
Abdul Carter.
Yeah, Mike. Like that. Let's not waste time on this one. Are we both on Abdul?
It's Abdul Carter. That D line. Okay, real quick. That D line is scary. I'm sorry. That is a scary D line. Abdul Carter, Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, Kayvon Thibodeau. Kayvon Thibodeau is the worst out of them all, and he would probably be the number one edge on some teams. As Muller's yawning over here. Because, on Giants. Abdul Carter is winning that award. I think it's what, plus 185?
Yeah, it's like he's winning it. You see it. You see odds like that, and it's over already.
Yeah, it's Sam. So, Abdul Carter, congratulations.
Yep.
All right, offensive rookie of the year.
You want to go first? I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I do want to go first because I don't think you're going to take my pick, but I also don't want you to ruin my pick here.
There's two in mind that I'm thinking that you're going to take.
Okay.
Tet McMillan. I mean, so at plus 1,200, dude, like, the connection that they already have from what we're seeing, whether it's in camp or the preseason game, I think his ceiling is so high. It's so much higher than what it already is that he's playing at. I just really like the connection there. I think Bryce Young's going to get him the ball a lot. And he's going to have a lot of touchdowns this year. He's going to have a lot of yards, a lot of catches. I like that pick a lot. I think his biggest competition this year is going to be Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward is a stud. I think it's not just because he's a Miami guy. It's going to sound like a homer pick there, but I think Cam Ward's going to get Tennessee in a position where, they might not win the division, but they're going to be pushing the Houston Texans this year. And I think Cam Ward's going to be a huge reason why they're doing that.
Yeah, that's a sneaky pick. I do like the Tet pick. I thought you were all over that pick. Cam Ward is a sneaky pick. You're really, it's a risky pick because you're really banking on just him being a player, like him as a player. It's not even he's a quarterback. It's tough for quarterbacks to really win those awards. Mm-hmm. My pick, I went with a lot of very high favorites, and a lot of these. I think it's Travis Hunter. I think what Travis Hunter, what he's doing in camp right now, being alongside BTJ, I think most of his action is going to be on the offensive side. Yeah. You're going to see, I don't think he has a chance to win Defensive Player of the Year because he's going to be mainly used as an offensive weapon. There's going to come a time where, he's going to start cruising into one role and one role only, and it's going to be on offense. And it's a big year for Trevor. And listen, you got two stud receivers out there. Travis Hunter's going to be a stud. He's going to put up numbers, and he's going to be a dog. I think Travis Hunter is a good pick. Plus 900. I have it here as so. I would take that and run with it for offensive rookie. Absolutely.
I also want to throw this guy into the mix here and get your thoughts on it. But Emeka Egbuka, we're talking about a guy who's getting thrown into an offense that's high-powered, high-scoring. You have Baker Mayfield that loves to sling the ball and take chances. He's in a perfect position going into his rookie year where, he could come out of this as where we're looking at as the best rookie.
The only thing with and the player I love, I think he, give him a year. I think he's going to be once Mike Evans retires, Chris Godwin is either on the team, injured, or wherever else. I think he's immediately going to be a wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, stamped. I think this year will be tough because Mike Evans is still there. He's going to have to put up some good numbers as a wide receiver 3. Obviously, probably battling with Jalen McMillan for that 3 spot. Again, as the player, we saw it at Ohio State. Stud, smart, good hands. For value, you can sprinkle a little bit on it. I wouldn't guarantee it because he's really going to – Baker and him are going to have to – he's going to have to be the wide receiver 2, and then he's just going to fizzle out in Godwin. But, yeah, he's going to be a really good player, man. I don't see him being a bust. I see him contributing immediately. It's not going to be as much as Mike Evans, but he's going to get his share. He's going to be on the field a lot. But good pick for value, absolutely.
All right, so the last thing we got here, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, is the regular season MVP. Mm-hmm. What are you thinking?
I'm taking the favorite. I'm going to go Lamar Jackson. I'm going to take Lamar here. Listen, after Josh Allen just won it, you know how Lamar's going to come out, and you know how he's going to just start dominating right off the bat. He's going to make a case for himself again. Lamar is going to come back with a vengeance, and he's going to win that MVP. You don't think he wasn't salty about that? Come on now.
We do this same conversation, ring around the circus bull crap every year. Oh, this Lamar's going to come back with a vengeance. He lost in the playoffs, gets bounced in the first round. Lamar's going to come back with a vengeance this year. He blows leads at the end of games when they don't score touchdowns and he can't get the ball to move down the field against who was it? The Titans or the Panthers? Like who? I'm tired of this whole Lamar Jackson thing. Like, Lamar Jackson can get my respect back by winning a few playoff games and making a Super Bowl. And like Josh Allen at least gets the chance to play in those games frequently and often, but he also doesn't have weapons. And that's where I look at Lamar and I'm like, you have the best running back, most dominant running back in the league. You have multiple weapons on the flanks. You have a great defense. Josh Allen does not have all of that, and he's still getting to those positions, and he's still winning MVPs over you. Lamar Jackson, figure it out, dude. I'm tired of us coming into every season like Lamar Jackson's going to be even better than he was last year. And then he just loses to Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen again. Like, how many years are we going to do this? And you know what? Throw Joe Burrow in there because Joe Burrow looks better than Lamar Jackson more consistently.
Key phrase, regular season MVP. I'm taking Lamar for that reason. Screw everything else that happens after that. It is the regular season. If it was a total, everything included MVP, maybe my answer is different. But Lamar Jackson, we know who he. Listen,
who was the 1 seed last year?
Who was the 1 seed last year? Kansas City? The Bills? The Ravens?
No. The Bills. I believe it was the Bills. So who was the 1 seed 2 years ago?
Kansas City.
Who was the 1 seed 3 years ago?
Kansas City.
Who was the 1 seed 4 years ago?
Kansas City.
Oh, so one thing's not adding up to me because you get the 1 seed from winning and getting your team in that position in the regular season. And Lamar Jackson is the only one of those big 3 that we're talking about because Joe Burrow, he's out of this conversation. Ever since he got to the Super Bowl, his defense can't even... They shouldn't even put a defense on the field. They should just give the other team 7 points. Why waste time? But literally, Lamar Jackson can't get a 1 seed, and you get the 1 seed in the regular season.
Listen, the thing is with Lamar, he's just that dynamic of a quarterback. You know this. When he has the rushing ability, when he has the passing ability, I mean, we're always going to. Lamar Jackson is that type of guy. We're always going to be looking at his numbers in comparison to whoever the favorite is to win the MVP. It's last year, he was one of those guys. Okay, either Josh Allen, Lamar, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar. Lamar is always going to be involved in that. I'm just taking it because I'm taking him to win it because Josh Allen won it last year. Lamar Jackson, he likes to win his MVPs. He's got the talent to win it. I think he does it. I think he does it this year, and I think he takes that trophy back from Josh Allen. I truly do.
All right. Well, while we're on the topic of those 3 battling it out, if the best player from the AFC can't get the 1 seed and we're going to call him the MVP, we might as well look at the NFC. And I'm talking about Dak Prescott because at plus 4,000, get ready because if you put it on anyone else, you're wasting your money. Dak Prescott's coming out this year with the 1 arm sleeve getting fined every game, and he's going to take everyone down. He's going to be a 1 or 2 seed in the NFC, not ruling out the Eagles or the Lions. I'm smart. Dak Prescott is going to make the NFC Championship game this year. And I think he makes it to the Super Bowl. There's so much turmoil and so much BS going on with Jerry Jones and what he's doing. And credit to him, he is a very smart businessman. There's a reason why we're the most profitable and most valuable franchise in the world. He's doing everything right, talking wise. I still think that all these people are getting bad info. I think him and Mike already have a deal in place, and they're just boosting up their value and money right now with all this talk, and all the eyes are constantly on the Cowboys. There's a reason why we have it on the Cowboys, and that's because the Cowboys are going to be your NFC champions and Super Bowl champions this year. Dak Prescott, AP, regular season MVP because he's going to win in the regular season, unlike Lamar Jackson, and then he's going to go on and be the Super Bowl MVP this year. So you might as well book that one while we're at it.
You might as well book Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold's not even going to be the starter because they got Jalen Milroe out there. Sam Darnold's going to be lucky if he's starting football games in November. Jalen Milroe is going to be running that thing just like he did down in Alabama, and it's going to be a problem for all the teams in the West.
Roll Tide.
Thank you.
I'm hearing that a lot down here too, by the way.
I bet. Go Dogs. Go Dogs. Roll Tide. War Eagle.
A lot of these guys are college football fans. That's all that, like, I talk to a lot of them, and all they talk about is college, man. College. I'm like, NFL? They're like, yeah, I like the NFL, but college. I'm like, it's funny to actually see it in person, you know. Speaking to a lot of these guys down here, just talking about college football, they are amped. They're amped. It's funny, man. It's way different. It's so much different, but I'm embracing it. It's funny as shit.
All right, so I love that. When I was down in South Carolina, it was the same thing with the freaking Gamecocks. There's so many cocks down there. It's ridiculous the way they talk like that.
Too many cocks down south, man.
Jesus. All right. Do you want me to give one last pick? And I figure we'll do some more prop bets as the season comes closer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we don't have to get into those today. We can lock in some of our best bets right before the season as well and tell everyone what we're riding. I want to give one more future before we go. You can bet on stage of elimination for teams on FanDuel Sportsbook. The Philadelphia Eagles are plus 280 to miss the playoffs, and I think everyone would be kicking themselves if we did not take that, because the Eagles, I'm just kidding, we're not going to do that, but I know that there's an Eagles fan that just got super triggered in their car, and I'm laughing at you right now because you really thought that I was that dumb that you guys are going to miss the playoffs. There's no way the Eagles miss the playoffs. You guys are one of the best teams in the NFL.
Plus 280 is crazy, by the way.
Crazy.
To miss the playoffs?
Yeah, for a team that's not even going to win their division, it's crazy, dude.
That's a little low. That's kind of alarming. It's a little strange.
I don't like that. But all right. So that's all I got tonight, Mike. Do you have anything else you wanted to touch on before we go?
No, that's it for me, man. Good stuff. The season is approaching. I think next week I'm going to have something cooked up based off what Lucas told me. I might take some time out of my schedule to make a massive list.
Yeah.
A massive list.
Yeah, and I mean, Mike, should we talk about the donation thing real quick?
Go ahead, bro.
Should we do that now, or should we save that for next week after?
Let's save it for next week.
Okay, let's save it for next week. All right, so I'm good.
You good?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Like, follow, subscribe. Another great episode.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of good stuff on the way too. A lot of good stuff on the way.
Yeah, we got a hell of a video on the way.
It is funny, and I hope you guys enjoy it, man. It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be awesome. I hope that they can even follow it. It's gonna be incredible. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Can't wait. That'll be out probably. I think it comes out next week. 2 weeks.
I'm not saying anything. I don't want to blow up the spot, but just be ready. It is going to be funny as hell. Let's have fun with it. Enjoy it.
Absolutely. So, hey, everyone, subscribe. We got some cool stuff coming your way. There's going to be prizes. There's going to be the NFL season coming up. Definitely subscribe so that you can keep up with all the info. Mike, have a good one.
All right, Mahler, good job. Guys, like, follow, subscribe. I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yes, let's go.
Thank God.
Peace out, guys.
All right, guys. Mahler, catch you, buddy.